Thank you. Ooh, maybe that's a bit loud. For those that aren't familiar with Inmarsat, we are a satellite network operator and a leader in the mobile satellite services market for over 30 years. The company is headquartered here in London. It's listed on the London Stock Exchange and is a FTSE 250 company. Our early history is in the maritime sector, where we launched our first M2M service more than 20 years ago, long before it would have been called M2M. That service, Inmarsat C, is still providing safety communications on vessels around the world today. In addition, services like D+ and ISAT M2M have been in the market for more than 10 years, servicing logistics and fleet management companies around the world for basic tracking and telemetry services. The map that you see on the slide is a coverage map for our current generation satellites, the Inmarsat 4s. The core network that's accessed through these satellites is an off-the-shelf 3G network. It has a global footprint and a 99.99% service availability. If you look back to the image again, you see the one of the unique aspects of the Inmarsat 4 satellites are their ability to dynamically allocate resource to areas of high demand. So if you look at the image again, the large rings that you see are the global beams, or the footprint of each of the satellites. The smaller rings that you see are the narrow beam or spot beams through which the communication channels are allocated. It's in these spot beams, which I guess are analogous to a cell with the 3G network. It's in these spot beams that we have the ability to put additional resource. So as an example, when the hurricane hit Haiti a few years ago, you saw military, UN, NGOs all descending onto Haiti with satellite devices in hand. The capacity in that spot beam over Haiti was suddenly highly utilized. The network automatically took capacity from a lesser used beam and put it over that beam for that period of demand. So the network is very interesting and a bit revolutionary in the satellite space in its ability to manage resource around the globe. So why satellite for M2M? I think the answer is probably fairly obvious in that a satellite M2M service can connect a device anywhere it's operating. Satellite services offer high availability and ubiquitous service coverage. They're a reliable extension to terrestrial mobile networks. They offer flexible data rates from bytes to gigabytes. There are satellite services that are designed very low data rate packet data services that are ideal for applications sending just a few bytes of data every day, to the 3G service that I mentioned that's fully capable of managing applications requiring throughput of gigabytes of data per month. Satellite can be a very cost-effective and rapidly deployable solution by comparison to additional terrestrial infrastructure build, and it will reach devices in more remote and hostile locations, and often those locations being in areas that are difficult to reach with additional terrestrial infrastructure. So satellite can support anything from sensors sending just bytes of data through to full IP SCADA systems and other applications that require quite robust communication links. So considering the benefits of satellite, Inmarsat actually has a very unique offering in this space, in that we combine a 3G network with L-band satellite. The 3G piece is obviously something I don't need to explain in this room, but the unique aspect is that we are the only satellite operator in the M2M space, or offering an M2M service based on a 3G network. It integrates seamlessly with terrestrial networks, real-time IP connectivity, as you all know. The L-band piece, combined with that 3G network, is what makes it very interesting, I think, particularly for sites that are quite remote and difficult to reach. The L-band operates in a very low frequency range, which provides a number of benefits that enhance its reliability. It performs very well in extreme weather conditions, is not subject to rain fade. The L-band operates with a very wide beam, which for a satellite service whose antennas are often directional, it means that there's quite a lot of pointing tolerance, which adds to the reliability. If you've got an antenna installed in a remote location and it moves due to high winds, seismic activity, or something else, you're not as likely to lose a network connection. You're much more likely to retain that. That reliability also translates to much smaller mobile antennas that are available as well, operating off an L-band service. So in the end, that combination of the 3G and all of the reliable aspects of the L-band mean that you've got a service that really requires very minimum human intervention for something at a remote site. So the market proposition, that combination of 3G and L-band enable solutions across a number of vertical markets ranging from energy and environmental monitoring to transportation and banking. But I think the core proposition that underlies that is pretty straightforward. It's a reliable extension to terrestrial networks. It can top up the service availability, particularly for critical infrastructure where customers are looking for something as close to 100% network availability as possible. And of course, it provides a backup for services that may occasionally have outages due to weather or other events. I think this slide was just a fairly good visual to show the obvious place for satellite. It's taken from a fleet management presentation, but which is one of the areas where we've served the market with an M2M service for the longest period of time. So those propositions that I mentioned across those markets are served by two core service platforms in the Inmarsat portfolio. You have BGAN M2M and iSat Data Pro. BGAN M2M is our 3G service. It offers standard IP data up to 0.5 megabit per second, an SMS channel for terminal management. It uses a single global SIM on a single global network. It's the same service anywhere in the world on the same rate plan. So it's a single tariff, single service, single SIM. Those tariffs are based on a set of subscriptions as well as pooled data options for partners that want to build their own end user packages, pooled options available as well. And it's this service, as I said, that combines the 3G with all the reliable features of L-band that I mentioned in the previous slide. iSat Data Pro. iSat Data Pro is an evolution of the iSat M2M service that I mentioned earlier. It is a packet data service, store and forward, not real time. Supports messages up to 10 kilobytes, but it is also, well, it runs on the Inmarsat 4 satellites, but it's also the highest payload and lowest latency of this service type on the market today. And if you look at what most of our competitors offer in the satellite M2M space, it's based on a packet data platform like iSat Data Pro. And this service is delivered in partnership with a company called Skywave. Oops, too far. So finally, Inmarsat understands very well that long-term success in this market is based on reducing the size and the cost of the devices, as well as the complexity of integrating with the satellite network. So we are making investments in our M2M technology at the network, the device, and the platform levels. The network level, we have an upgrade taking place to the core network that will enable us to support much lower gain, lower cost omnidirectional antennas for our IP service, for the BGAN service, as well as supporting more devices per channel operating at lower data rates or lower data volumes. At the device level, we are moving from terminal-based services to core technology to enable satellite and hybrid devices to allow a satellite device to be embedded into an RTU or into a device that's running an application. We have a chipset and core module program that's been kicked off to do this. Those products will be targeted primarily at an OEM and systems integrator market. And then at the platform level, for Inmarsat, the M2M platform is not about hosting applications. It's about packaging the satellite service in a simple, easy to integrate API that provides access to the services and functionality that are required to manage the M2M offering. And so rather than try to talk through a case study of some kind, I'm going to let one of our customers tell you a little bit about how this service has been deployed for weather monitoring in New Zealand.
BGAN M2M from Inmarsat is a two-way IP data service designed for machine-to-machine management of fixed assets. Using Inmarsat's global satellite network, It provides a reliable, always-on connection between machines and easily integrates with existing and bespoke applications. Reliability is just one of the things that sets BGAN M2M apart from other solutions. Inmarsat has a 99.9% availability of their satellite and ground network. And because BGAN M2M works on an L-band spectrum, BGAN M2M works whatever the weather. In Christchurch, New Zealand, the National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research decided to test BGAN M2M to see how it worked with their data collection systems.
When we were testing the BGAN terminals that were subsequently deployed out to Fiji, we had them out on the test lawn out the back, making sure that they were all working. And just while they were out there, we had a big snowstorm come through, which was a good test of the system. And the great news about all of that was all the devices worked perfectly and didn't miss any reports. And that gave us great confidence that those sort of conditions weren't going to cause us a problem when we used them in the future.
Reliability and durability are mandatories for organisations such as NIWA.
One of the attributes that some of the end user organisations that we're actually working with and have worked with for many years has been that where they have mission critical activities or things that have a priority associated with them, such as flood warning or other systems, where they need reliable communications, they've been reluctant to adopt some of the low Earth orbiting type technologies where there is a need for there to be a bird in the sky at the time the message needs to actually get through. And now with the arrival of the BGAN M2M service, or the BGAN service, where we have a geostationary situation where the communications that you may get today should be the communications that you get every day. Some of that reluctance may now wane in the use of satellite technology for some of their more mission critical activities.
So with that, I'd just like to say thank you, and if you think that satellite might help solve problems for you or your customers, please find me or one of my colleagues who are here today and tomorrow.